Thank you very much for coming to our session today on Metasites. My name's Gordon Thornton. I'm head up the Metasites and cloud gaming for Xsolla, and Michael heads up the engineering team. We'll talk second half of the presentation. So today we're going to talk about Metasites, which is it's a metaverse for Unreal projects. We play your 3D experiences, we play them on the cloud. There are huge benefits of that, which we'll talk about shortly. And we can share, and that's the most important thing about Metasites, you can share across friends, family, colleagues, players. So Xsolla, what is Xsolla? Xsolla is the leading game commerce company. It started with payments. It's the largest merchant of record in the games industry, evolved into monetization, and we're a leading provider for web shops, both PC and mobile, but also extended into distribution, and that's where cloud gaming comes. It's a different way of play. We have a pay-to-play model, which is also the same for Metasites, and also it's going to be evolving into a demo platform for indie studios and AAAs alike. Further on that, it's focused on retention and acquisition of players, and there are some of the features that we'll leverage in Metasites, which Mike will talk about in terms of features like a backpack, which is a wallet you carry around things you've earned, as well as rewards, as well as quests, which are things to kind of either acquire users or to basically retain users on the platform. So Xsolla is kind of leading global video games company. We support lots of different attributes from the full monetized to engagement spectrum. Metasites are a metaverse, and everyone's kind of has a mixed feeling about what metaverse is. It used to be a great term, and then Meta kind of killed it. But I think actually the feeling we've had from the Unreal Fest so far is actually that the Metasite, there's a lot of goodwill towards the concept of metaverse, and I'll talk about that in a second. But looking at the metaverse industry or the sector, there's $103 billion projected in this fiscal year, but growing rapid growth as we come over the kind of future years. 50% of that is from gaming specifically, and that in terms of when you actually this report, or the quote I'm giving doesn't necessarily give you, but others suggest that's coming from the likes of Fortnite, Roblox, and Minecraft specifically. So the average spend in metaverses is $92, and that does include the hardware from Meta and other VR, AR platforms. But I think the issue for me with metaverses is they've just not really reached their potential. And there's a number of reasons for that. One is the hardware constraint and actually having to buy devices to access the metaverse, and also to some extent the walled gardens where you have to download software and install, but it creates that barrier for the user to really engage. And I kind of feel that they're very much in the experimental phase, so we haven't actually seen the killer app for a metaverse. It feels all a bit ethereal and not really pushed, kind of not really got there's not really a use case that's really driving it. And alongside that, as metaverse was starting to get traction, kind of the juggernaut of AI came alongside, and all the investors kind of went, okay, metaverses were interesting, but now we're going to go AI, and that's really still where we are. But I do feel like there's a flow back into this space. So just in terms of the metaverse and why I talk about Metasites being a metaverse, is there are, and I can't think of the numbers, so I'm not going to do it, but there are a number of reasons that a metaverse has to have. It has to have immersive experiences, has to have user interaction, has to have 3D avatars, has to have user, and I call it directed content, because it's actually about the user determining what's successful or not. And the final one is massive multiplayer. So, and I'll talk about those in the coming slides, and how we feel like we've actually got a really good articulation for that for the community that are looking for Unreal projects and 3D experiences. So our aspiration is to build a metaverse which is a thriving space for investors and creators to explore and be rewarded. So what is Metasites? It's a discovery-first ecosystem It's a Metaverse. Metasites is 3D immersive multiplayer. It's mostly focused on Unreal, but we will move to WebGL and other platforms. It is cloud-based, which basically gives it the advantage that it's instantly playable. So there's no download, no install, it's just play. And we've created a platform that's really, we created a platform for creators and studios where we take all the hard lifting for you. So we do the monetization and distribution, multiplayer and communications, and allowing you to focus on engaging the players and building community. So as I say, we want to build this thriving space for creators. Why Metasites? There are effectively three principal reasons why we believe Metasites are going to be successful. The first is its use of cloud, and cloud is really great for as a user acquisition platform. Why? Because it's instantly playable. So there's no download, there's no install. It plays on PC, mobile, tablet, smart TV. And you can click from any web link, any site. So if you have your social media, if you have a company site where you want to showcase any of your work, it just goes straight to your meta site, and people within 10 seconds maximum are actually playing your experience. Secondly, it's open, not closed. So it's accessible from anywhere. You just basically embed a link and they'll go there, and there's no hardware requirements because obviously the hardware requirements are managed through the server, the cloud-based server, so it's accessible to all. So we like the fact that Metasites and the Metaverse are built on cloud because its experience is instantly accessible. You can experience it instantly and it's accessible to all. Secondly, you click, explore, and you play. And that makes a really, really immersive experience. So in the right-hand side, sorry, I'm slightly dyslexic, so I'm going to come over here. So on this side, you've got someone who's actually navigating through the space, Ghost Lake, and on the right-hand side, you've got where there's a curated video, and you've got the images that are being captured. So from our perspective, we feel the immersion is the fact that you're able to curate your own journey through the 3D space. And secondly, you're able to bring and share with friends, so making it much more of an emotive experience for you than effectively watching and scrolling a curated thing. So you're letting the player determine the journey they want to take through the experience. Thirdly, user experiences are so much better shared. So if you think about going to and I'm trying to cover the things, if you go to a museum, an art gallery, or you go to a sporting event, if you think about the ability to turn to the person next to you, friend, family, stranger, and start conversing and talking about, hey, I love that thing, love that bit of art, I love that experience, it's amazing, or that goal, or that kind of touchdown, whatever your sport is, that was amazing, then actually your emotional association to what you're feeling is so much stronger, and we believe that's absolutely core to actually the sharing of 3D experiences, games, etc. So with that, Metasites has basically delivered, provides multiplayer experiences, and we use a company called Metabrowser, which allows us to scale to thousands of concurrent users, potentially tens of thousands. I'd like to test that. You've got user interaction within the players themselves, but also importantly, the ability to feed back to the creators, the studios, and we have avatars through Ready Player Me that allow self-expression, also opportunities to monetize. And Michael will talk a little bit about the kind of avatar strategy later on. So for us, the cloud gives us a differentiation that it's instantly accessible. We've got the ability to kind of go in and support the 3D experiences, and it comes with community. So if we kind of reflect back on what I talked about in terms of what are the key features of a metaverse, you've got interconnected worlds, which is the ability to move between metasites, which we provide. We're providing an immersive experience because you're actually interactive, you're involved with it, and you have people and crowds, you have user interaction, you've got the avatars, you've got massive multiplayer. The one thing that we don't have is the user-directed content, which is effectively why we come to the Unreal Fest to find studios and partners to work with. Xsolla has a relationship, or is a sister company of 80 Level, And when we go to market, we will be working with 80 Level to showcase the work that creators do. And that'll be part of our go-to-market focus to basically talk to that community and engage that community with Metasites. Monetization. So the key principle we have is effectively has a pay-as-you-go approach with the ability to trial. So effectively, we set a trial period which can be a couple of minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, half an hour, whatever you feel appropriate for your experience. And until people start earning, then there's no fees, there's no cost. It's only when you start to sell that we would then net back some of our fees on against the pay-as-you-go. So no sales, no fees, but when you do earn, we've got a friendly revenue share, not quite as good as the Epic one, but it's 80-20, and that's kind of how we look to move forward. You obviously set the price for how much it is per hour to view your 3D experiences, and we'll expand revenue streams in terms of collectibles, etc. But that's a little bit further down the line, but it's the aspiration. So Metasites is a huge market opportunity. So we're going to work with 3D creatives and games to bring on indie devs and studios. Xsolla is going to provide, the monetization tech and platform. And we've basically got a proven history in terms of providing all that within the games industry, 20 years. And we're going to work with 80 Level and you guys to engage the community and basically build a community focused on 3D experiences and games organically, which basically puts Metasites in the sweet spot of the creators, the audience, and the monetization and community platform. So it's built for creators and players alike. So for the creators, we've created a very easy onboarding process, which Michael will share with you. Xsolla covers the hosting costs until you earn. You can interact and get feedback by involving the community in your project. It's built-in monetization from Xsolla. It's basically our pedigree. And all you need to do is post on your social accounts and the player gets instant play. And then for the player, they're able to browse with no download, no install, nothing clogging up the hard drive. It's just play. And you pay for what you want to. So you can reward the creative studios that you want to reward. And there's obviously a trial window. So you get to test before you actually decide to go forward. And really, this is a community powered on discovery. So that's really where we want to do. So remember, ecosystem, a metaverse a metaverse set up for discovery. So at this point, I'm going to hand over to Michael, who will take you through how you create a Metasite.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Michael Broderick. I am the lead engineer on Metasites at Xsolla. And I'm going to show you a bit of the features of the Metasite platform, how to use our Unreal Engine plugin, and how to launch your Metasite. To start us off, we'll start with core features and taking a look at the tools that we've already built to kind of facilitate that open platform. After that, we'll look at features in development, and that gives you a view into what's coming next and what we're currently working on. And then we'll talk about the scale problem, how we get these massive crowds into these virtual spaces. And then I'll show you how to get our plugin installed and set up and how to launch your first Metasite. And part of that launch process is obviously, I will also show you how to deploy that Metasite to our platform. So with core features, we have a solid foundation that will kind of quickly enable creators of any skill level to join and use Metasites as a launch platform. And we have several more on our roadmap that are nearing completion. At Xsolla, we also have several products that are in development and that will be used by Metasites to further its offerings, but they are actually independent products. So even if you're not using Metasites, for example, you could use the backpack system or quests, and I'll show you a bit more about that soon. So currently we have avatars, portals, links, communication systems, and our multiplayer system. And one of our goals is always to find and connect with more of these tools that are kind of built in an open way. And that will allow our partners to kind of come in and join and build with us. And that'll allow the creators to kind of pick and choose what features they want really easily. So first up, with our avatars, they are an optional feature for all Metasites. We've given creators the ability to launch with Ready Player Me. Players who visit your Metasite will get to bring their avatar with them to any Metasite and kind of have that consistent identity across all of these shared spaces. So we've taken a lot of the effort out of this integration. We've also optimized it to support scale better for massive crowds. And we've integrated the avatar configuration into the front end of Metasites. And this is built in a React system and is really kind of performant and built for all platforms. So whether you're on mobile or desktop, you get to use like that same consistent UI. One of the common problems with streaming solutions is having UI that's kind of in the stream ends up looking a little fuzzy or unoptimized and it doesn't scale properly. So we've kind of solved that by having this front end layer that hosts all of our core features. And so, as I mentioned, we want to allow users to keep that consistent identity when using Ready Player Me or any other avatar system we provide in the future. So we also store this avatar data for the player in our systems and handle replication of this across our network. So next up, we're also building a custom solution designed for scale from the MetaHuman base. With Unreal Engine 5.6, introducing metahumans in the engine, we're really hoping that things like Chaos Cloth and Houdini Grooms are going to continue to get optimized. And we believe it will be easier than ever for creators to come in and kind of create their style of avatar if they even want one. We also have plans on our roadmap to use a system like Altava. And so the way that works is it kind of uses AI to generate alternate styled clothing options for any game style you have. So if you come in with a really like pixelized character, Altava will generate the same clothing for that character. So even if you jump from a stylized Metasite to a really hyper-realistic one, it will keep your identity and keep those clothing options. In the end, these are all optional because not every Metasite wants avatars. Some are first person and don't really use it, or other options, but they'll be an important feature for those creators who do and who aren't really familiar with all of the complexities of creating an avatar system that can support hundreds of players. So we really think it'll be kind of nice to have that as at the click of a button, kind of turning it on. Next up, I'm going to talk about interconnectivity. So we've implemented two features for this. The first is our portal system. As we tested all of the worlds, it became really apparent early on that the ability to jump from world to world in a seamless way often feels closed off or that your experience is finite. So to let users continue exploring and discovering new metasites, we created this portal system. And that allows you to kind of navigate in a 3D environment and continue your journey without having to revert back to a 2D interface. From the creator's perspective, implementing this is really easy. We have example blueprints that can be added to your world and kind of help you to implement these portals. It works where you actually don't have to create a new build if you do want to change that portal destination. You can kind of manage that externally on your own, which allows you to really easily update your Metasite or extend it without the headache of taking a build and uploading it to our platform. So along with portals, we've made our version of links as well. Links are really essential on the web, and we didn't want to lose that with Metasites. So what we've done is let users create these dynamic links that let other users join them at that exact moment. And this brings other people in for co-op gameplay or just having a meeting. And with this in place, it's very easy to share a Metasite with someone through chat or social media, just as you would any other web content. At the same time, these links set an anchor where the player was in the world. So if they aren't found in real time, you actually still get to join and go to where they were. So that link is kind of useful in multiple ways, where you can kind of leave a bookmark for someone and say, hey, go check out this Metasite. This spot was really cool or really interesting. So yeah, you can kind of create these landmarks that way. As a benefit to those who create these links and share them, our referral system kind of tracks the usage of them. And then the creators will benefit from those links, but the players who come into your spaces will share it with others and be rewarded for doing so. Next, I'd like to cover the social features we have. So right now, anyone who visits a Metasite has the option to use proximity chat with other users. This works out of the box on all Metasites without creators having to spend development time kind of implementing their own system. And it works in the front end again. So again, it's really responsive and quick and avoids you having to add that kind of weight to your build. And this reduces latency and stops you from having to stream it and kind of get that text blurring that can happen when it, depending on your location. So creators using our Unreal tools don't have to configure or implement any of this in the engine. So it's supported out of the box on all Metasites. So still under development, we are working on our friends and group systems. And so this will let you keep in touch and join them in worlds on demand and kind of see who's online. You know, everyone's familiar with friends lists. And this lets you also create private sessions for creating those unique gameplay co-op style stuff. And so finally, we want to bring massive social hubs and events to Metasites. This is really in the early stages, but we're doing a lot of experiments to see the limitations of our system and cloud infrastructure so that we can really push the limits of the virtual events. We've seen things like Fortnite concerts and letting creators make events like that while pushing concurrency to higher levels is something we're really interested in. Doing something like that is a real challenge in many ways, and part of that is the multiplayer networking. So I'm going to talk a bit about that now. I think everyone agrees the future of the metaverse has to be kind of open, and we're partnering with some really great companies like Metabrowser, who have a networking product kind of built for scale from the ground up. And so with properly optimized scenes and characters, we've seen thousands of players in the same location while keeping performance at a playable level. Anyone who knows Unreal Engine knows that rendering that many actors in a scene who are acting independently is a serious challenge, just from the rendering perspective. And this is something we've been taking into account when implementing any avatar system or any new feature. And the other challenge is actually processing that amount of network data. When that many people kind of congregate in the same spot, you get problems. So the solution to that for us has been Quark. And this is provided by Metabrowser, and every Metasite kind of gets this instant networking for any creator who doesn't want to manage their own dedicated servers. If you do, we still support that kind of traditional dedicated server networking, but Quark works kind of out of the box through Metabrowser, and it reduces latency a lot. So we have a short video that showcases some of the work they've done, and during this you'll see a variety of games and experiments. Yeah, so in that video, you could see that there were a variety of game types. One of them was even like the car racing thing, where they were all using chaos vehicles, and there were hundreds of those cars in the same scene. So that's the kind of power we're talking about. So while we're on the topic of networking, I want to talk about the scale problem and a bit about some of the experiments that we are doing at Xsolla with this system. One of the major issues with cloud and streaming platforms is that ability to scale, and we're trying to solve for this in various ways. As I mentioned, thanks to Quark, the Metabrowser supports kind of these massive multiplayer experiences, and that gives you the option of having large social hubs where players congregate, or just being able to host hundreds of private gameplay sessions. So to test this, we ran experiments in a few metasites. And here you can see one of our pilot metasites known as the Suburban Project. It's a high fidelity scene that involves a lot of different assets. And here in this open park area, we've tried to push the limits of replication. So it's often, you could just throw in a bunch of AI and kind of give them random directions and think that you're kind of testing it. But this is actually pushed in at the network layer. So while they are bots, it's actually sending in that amount of network data into a single Unreal instance. And each of those is essentially replicating what a real player's amount of input would be. And with over 1,000 unique bots here, using a variety of Ready Player Me avatars, each with these different movement vectors that are coming in, and they're being updated in real time at the same rate as another player would. So this demonstrated both our stability and performance with our networking layer, and it's something we're really, confident in the reliability of. So currently, the other side is that we run on cloud servers, and letting users instantly join without the friction of downloading the data to their local machine. But streaming at scale has been a constant barrier to bringing these massive amounts of crowds into the same virtual space. So every year, we have data center capacity rising. We have more cloud providers coming online and more GPUs become available. And this helps bring the cost down for streaming. And at Xsolla, we have like a handful of different partners who are helping us to bring that demand across the globe. This means that your players will use machines that are kind of region-based and close to them, which reduces the amount of latency and makes it feel snappy, where they can actually play gameplay without feeling like it lags or has too much latency. So at the same time, we're currently developing the ability to let players use their own PCs for Metasites. So what that means is we'll allow them to use all of the Metasite features that we've built, but they will actually download the build locally and run it locally, which means that they get to use their own GPU, and it opens up Metasites to all of the desktop market and kind of solves a lot of the scale problems if a lot of your users can run it that way. So this allows us to reach that entire desktop market, but we still allow them to stream it from the cloud servers, which means that people on the phone or desktop or any device will continue to use it through a browser if they want. Next up, I'm going to talk a bit about the features that we have in development. So at Xsolla, we have several products that we're working on, and many of these solutions will kind of work beyond Metasites. And so we're integrating with several platforms, on console, PC, mobile, and they'll be used by all sorts of studios and developers everywhere. But some of the first users of these features will be Metasites. We kind of get the early access. So these features include an inventory system we call the backpack, a system for drops where we kind of reward players who come into the worlds, and the quest system. We're also working on releasing some editor tools and our creator dashboard that will assist you with your Metasites configuration. And this lets you kind of update directly from within the editor. And it's also, the creator dashboard is also a web-based tool, so you don't have to actually go into your Unreal build, make a change, and then upload a new build again. You get to actually just make changes from the web and see those changes instantly in your Metasite. And the other part of the creator dashboard will be where you can see all of your analytics and statistics and manage your payouts and things like that, and uploading builds. And these will further make all Metasites kind of feel connected and interoperable, and they'll also reward the players who engage the most. So a bit more about Backpack and Drops. It will allow creators to kind of make items that are accessible to all Metasites, and users will be able to trade and redeem those items. At the same time, we'll implement the drop system, which will reward users with a variety of items like unique cosmetics, or even CD keys and discounts for games. And we plan on using analytics and tools like our heat map system that will let it really be smart about where it creates these drops and kind of incentivizes users to go and explore different Metasites. And that will help dynamically spawn these objects in accessible places. Another feature that we're working on for Metasites is the quest system. These are standalone products that will reach across all platforms and games, but for Metasites, we want to incentivize users to explore and discover new artists and developers on their own. So we'll kind of have dynamic quests, and we'll also give creators the option of creating their own quest system and generating their own rewards to increase that engagement into the Metasites. Finally, we're getting close to releasing our creator dashboard. This will be the one location where all creators can kind of come in and do things like edit their Metasite information or uploading new builds. This will let you kind of manage your landing page for your Metasite, adjust your branding, and also let users know all about you as a creator. It will also show areas of Metasites that have the most activity. So we have a visualization with a heat map. And these maps and other analytics are kind of critical for improving that engagement and understanding how your Metasite is being experienced. So we also have our feedback and error reporting tools where they will be able to get, your users will be able to come in, and if there is a problem, they'll be able to tell you about it, and you'll be able to review that feedback and kind of fix the problem and let them know that it's been solved. Next up, I'd like to show you a bit about how to create a Metasite. So to get started with building a Metasite, we have our documentation available, and that will kind of, it's a great way to get onboarded, and you'll also find links to download the latest version of our plugin. And really, it's really simple where you just kind of unzip the plugin, add it to your project as you would any other, and activate it in the editor. We support 5.4 up right now. And I think we can say that 5.7 will be soon, but it would probably work if you tried it. In the future, this will be even easier. We're in the process of getting this listed on the Fab Marketplace, so that'll be really simple for you to actually get it added into your editor and just install and update without having to go out and grab it from our website. So once you have the plugin and have opened it in the editor, you can find example blueprints that show you how to use some of the features. So this assists you in doing things like adding portals to other Metasites or using the optional avatar systems like Ready Player Me for your characters. After making the changes you want, the last thing you need to do is just test. And here you can just see a short GIF of me confirming that the replication system is working out of the box, that and things are looking correct. So and our documentation is also there. That'll really help kind of guide you if you run into any problems. And the big part of that is also, we're still streaming this from the cloud. They have set hardware requirements. You can't add millions of polygon cars and things like that really and expect it to perform well. So definitely keep in mind the optimization of the scene. So after that, your Metasite will be ready, and you kind of just create the build for the Windows platform. It makes it really easy because most people are developing on Windows already. How this works is we actually use Proton, and so on the cloud servers it gets converted, but you get to just build under Windows, and it makes it really simple. We have tools under development that will provide kind of automated feedback on your build quality, and even we're working on something like a ranking system so that we can give you more insight into how to improve your Metasite and get that performance you need, and bring those users in and keep them in. So once uploaded, you can configure your Metasite in the dashboard, and that's where you would upload your branding materials, fill out descriptions, set the URL you want to use, and add screenshots and things like that if you want. It will be visible in the dashboard as it enters that review process, and then this will transition after it has been confirmed to be kind of working and playable and not having any problems and safe for the community to connect to. As the owner of the Metasite, it will be up to you to kind of decide when you want it to go live and allow other players to join. And what we do is provide you with kind of private access for a limited time. So a select audience can come in and test it with you. You can use the trial period or be granted, some time to run around in there yourself. And then after that, you kind of just make it public when you're ready. So yeah, to recap a little bit, so the Metasites kind of gives you real-time collaboration on your projects. It lets you kind of upload your build instantly, let other people come in and see what you're working on, even if it's under development. And they don't have to actually have the hardware to run it themselves, or they can just check it out on their phone and give you feedback that way. It opens up your content to people on all devices, and you don't have to adapt your project to kind of or compromise on your visuals for on mobile or anything like that. Creators don't need to manage payment processing themselves. We do all of that in the background. Xsolla has a long history of managing payments and game systems, so that makes it really simple for you, where you get to kind of upload your project for free and have other people join in, and then as they start using it, you actually get paid for your work. So it's really kind of innovative. Not many people are able to say, I own a 3D space on a website that people pay to visit. It's relatively low risk, again, because your project is streamed to the user. So your build is actually not accessible. They can't see your files. You don't have to protect it as hard as you would for a desktop build. And you don't have to pay anything for the hosting of the project or making it accessible through Metasites. Yeah, so after that, you're kind of done. You'll get listed in our catalog when you go live, and you'll be able to open it up to visitors. At that point, other people can also make portals to jump to your Metasite or kind of find it organically through a random portal or get promoted on our catalog to a sponsored section. Yeah, so today I kind of showed you those technical details about Metasites. It's our new platform to launch and monetize your projects in the cloud. We covered our current and future features and how to create and launch your Metasite. So whether you're kind of like an engineer or a studio or an artist, and you want to like build the next generation of 3D content on the web, the Metasites ecosystem offers the tools and scale to make it possible. And if you're interested in learning more, we have a booth right outside. So feel free to drop by and let's talk about it. Thank you.